John Bollinger. Today I'll be showing you how to play Archmage Wars. First, I'll show you how to put the pieces together. Each piece comes with a microcard and a stand. Squeeze the bottom of the stand, insert the microcard, and your playing piece is put together. Now let's get on to gameplay. We will be having goblins versus airfolk for this game. Step 1 is to roll and see who will go first. Goblins roll a 6, airfolk roll a 1. Goblins will be going first. Setup: each player places their units onto the battlefield. According to whoever goes first places their units on the battlefield first, and followed by the second player. When playing with the goblins, I usually set up the spearmen and berserkers in the front line. It's because they both have the ability to rush forward, allowing them to reach the enemy and deal damage before the enemy can take out very many of them. I then place the rock slingers and normal goblin warriors in the back to provide cover for my bombers. Bombers, which are the most powerful goblin units, are placed into the back. I am done setting up now for the goblins. Now it's time to set up the airfolk. The airfolk I set up a little bit differently, with the weakest units, the skimmers, in the front, the ranged units such as the archers and tricksters in the back. Tricksters I place a little bit further in the back due to their ability to fire further. Airfolk skimmers are the weakest units and are placed in the front as cannon fodder. Another cool unit in the airfolk army is the Summoned Fog Bank. The Summoned Fog Bank can be used to get units out of trouble by switching places with them during an attack. I will show you how that works here in a little bit. We are now done setting up the board. Next, each player takes their cards and splits them into two groups. The two groups being the spell cards, which say spell on them, under type, and then the info cards, which will have a picture of the unit and will say type goblin or goblin general, depending on what type of unit it is. Place the info cards in front of you. And then each player picks 3 spell cards without revealing them to their opponent out of their 6 original spell cards. The other 3 are placed off to the side in a discard pile. Airfolk will do the same, and we will begin. Since goblins set up first, they will be moving first. During your turn, you get 3 units to move with and or attack with. The units may move, attack, then move, or move and then attack. You must be able to use 3 units to attack or move with. If you're not able to do so, you lose the game. So for my first move, I'll move my Goblin Berserker forward. Using one of his abilities, called Rush, which says this unit may take an extra movement phase instead of attacking, I will move him forward again. That was one unit. My next unit is a Goblin Spearman. I'll move forward and attack the Airfolk Skimmer. The Airfolk Skimmer has a defense of 1d6, while the Goblin Spearman has an attack of 1d6, meaning they each roll 1d6. The Goblin rolled a 6, while the Airfolk rolled a 2. This means the Airfolk is destroyed. If it had been the other way around, say the Airfolk had rolled a 6 and the Goblin had rolled a 2, the Goblin would have stayed on the battlefield, nothing would have happened. The attack would have been done. If they both tie, say they both rolled 6s, then you re-roll. So the Airfolk unit is destroyed and placed off to the side of the battlefield. For my last move, I will move another Goblin Berserker, rushing him forward. It is now the Airfolk's player's turn. The Airfolk will attack with the Mage to the Goblin Berserker. The Goblin Berserker has a defense of 1d6, while the Mage has an attack of 1d6. So we both roll 1d6. The Mage rolled a 2, while the Goblin rolled a 4, allowing the Goblin to live and nothing happens. My next move, I will take an Airfolk Archer and attack the Goblin. Again, both have 1d6. This time, the Goblin rolled a 4, while the Airfolk rolled a 2. Again, the Goblin lives. For my last attack, I'll be attacking with an Airfolk Trickster, who can fire 1, 2, 3 spaces. He has a range of 3. So she'll roll a 4, while my Goblin rolls a 1. This allows the Airfolk Trickster to hit the Goblin, killing him. The Goblin is then removed. That was 3 moves, and the Airfolk Mage, the Airfolk Archer, and the Airfolk Trickster. It is now the Goblin's turn again. For the Goblin, I will attack with the Goblin Berserker to the Airfolk Archer. The Goblin has an attack of 1d6 plus 2. This means when I roll a 6 and add 2 to that number, making it a total of 8. The Airfolk rolls a 6, although she has a -1 to her defense, which means, she has 1d6 normal defense and is destroyed. Using the Goblin's ability, called Rage, which allows this unit to attack, may take an extra attack phase instead of moving, I will attack the Airfolk Archer. Again, I rolled a 3 plus 2 is 5, while she rolls a 5. This is a tie, and we'll be going to re-roll. I rolled a 2 plus 2 is 4, while the Archer rolled a 6. So the Archer lives. Next, I will rush a Goblin Spearman forward, and then move a Goblin Berserker forward, attacking an Airfolk Skimmer. The Skimmer dies to a 6 to 4. 8 to 4. Next, we'll be covering how to play spells. Spells may be played at any time during the game. Wrong file. So, I can play Rally the Troops. Rally the Troops says you must have a general to cast Rally the Troops. Lorky, my general, counts as that. You may move and attack with an additional 2 units this turn. Discard Rally the Troops at the end of turn. I'll be attacking with the Goblin Berserker as one of my additional units to the Airfolk Skimmer. For +2, I roll a 3 plus 2 is 5. Well, the Skimmer rolls a 5. Reroll. I roll a 7. Skimmer rolls a 4. Airfolk Skimmer is destroyed. I'll then move him forward. Next, I'll move a Goblin Spearman forward and attack another Skimmer for normal. I roll a 3. Skimmer rolls a 4, the skimmer lives. Value of the troops is discarded at the end of turn and goes into the discard pile. Now it is the airfolk's turn again. They will be attacking with an airfolk trickster to this goblin berserker. The goblin berserker rolled a 3. The airfolk trickster rolled a 5. In response, however, since I still have spells that I can play, I will be playing Fiery Conclusion. Even though Fiery Conclusion targets this goblin berserker, but even though it's been destroyed, the Fiery Conclusion kicks off first. You can only play one spell per turn, however, and that limits you. Some spells bounce back to your hand, and they will say at the end of the card, return this spell to your hand at the end of turn. Other spells, like the Fiery Conclusion, say discard Fiery Conclusion at the end of the turn, meaning they go into the discard pile. The goblin attacks all units within within one section with 1d6 plus 2. So we'll go through that, and you get a 4 versus a 6. That guy lives. A 1 versus a 6. This guy dies. And a 6 versus an 8. So the Airfolk Mage dies. The Goblin Berserker dies as well due to the effect of the Fire Conclusion, which reads, you must have a Fire Allied General to cast Fiery Conclusion. Discard one of your units. The Goblin Berserker. That unit attacks all units within one sector with attack equals 1d6 plus 2. Discard Fiery Conclusion at the end of turn. Now, take notice that it says you must have a Fire Allied General to cast Fiery Conclusion. Lorky, whose card says Allied Fire, is my Fire Allied General and allows me to cast that spell. Now the Airfolk resume their turn. They have attacked with the Airfolk Trickster so far. We'll move an Airfolk Trickster up and attack the Goblin Spearman. Again, you go through this and you keep going until someone has only 3 units left. Once a player has 3 units left, they are in danger of losing. For example, we'll just say that the Goblins have 3 units left. These 3. If they lose one more unit, they are unable to attack and or move with 3 units and lose the game. We move the Airfolk Skimmer forward. The Goblins roll a 1 for defense. The Airfolk Skimmer rolls a 6. The Goblins lose. And the Airfolk Skimmer wins. One other ability we will be talking about is Interrupt ability. Interrupt allows a unit to activate an ability as a spell during an opponent's turn. Fogbanks have the Interrupt ability and also have a Shift ability, which means they can switch places during an opponent's turn or during their own turn with another unit. Switching places counts as a spell and therefore they are unable to cast any more spells this turn. Thank you for watching, and please vote for us on thegamecrafter.com.